Hello, and welcome back to our subscribers, and welcome to anyone who's newly listening to these Dhamma talks. We're using the book Kamatthana. It can be downloaded as an ebook from this YouTube channel, and today we're on page 15. The page 14 was about the way monks are instructed to live, their possessions, etc. And page 15 is also just about monks. So please don't misunderstand that the Buddha is telling lay people this is how they should live. These instructions are dedicated exclusively to the monks. The first one is to live a celibate life, and usually in the West we just think, no sex. But we're going to see there are 7 descriptions that define what a celibate life actually looks like. So it's not just prohibition against intercourse, or self-satisfying oneself. First one, no sensual contact, no intercourse. So there's lots of ways we can get pleasure short of intercourse. There are religions who teach that intercourse before marriage is prohibited. So I've seen on the news, various ways practitioners of those religions avoid the intention by finding other ways to satisfy one another. So holding hands, kissing, rubbing, touching, sensual contact is forbidden to a monk, and only to a monk. No joking, playing, amusing oneself with possible sexual partners. So a monk practicing celibacy doesn't flirt, he doesn't carry on, he doesn't joke around with and tease. He doesn't engage with a sexual partner at all. You're going to see, I think one of these is you don't even look in their face, in their eyes. In fact, let me tell a quick story since this is a short page. It's a true story from the 20th century. A monk went on his morning alms rounds, start over. 2 or 3 monks were bathing in a small creek. They heard the laughter of some girls walking up on the road above them. 2 of the monks studiously avoided looking at the girls. They turned their backs. But one of the monks glanced up to see what the girls were doing. They turned out to be young, attractive women, and one of the girls and this monk made eye contact. So he instantly, quote, love at first sight, he was hooked. The next morning when he went on his alms round, that girl was offering the rice in the morning, and he had never seen her before. Maybe her mother or parents or a sibling had been doing that in the past, but she too had been smitten. She wanted to see the monk again. She came out in the morning. Well, this happened a day or 2, and then the monk went to the abbot and confessed what had happened and asked if he could be transferred to a different monastery because he simply couldn't get this young woman out of his mind. And the abbot said, well, okay, but you can't avoid your own karma. Well, the monk didn't know what that meant. Anyway, the monk allowed him to change to a different temple, many, many miles far away from this small village where he had been living. And he does his alms rounds there, and everything is fine. And then one morning, as he does his rounds, there's this girl. It's impossible. How can this girl be in this town? It turns out the girl had relatives who lived in that town, and one of them had become ill. Her parents had sent her to the town to help care for the relative. So there she was. It was unavoidable. The end of the story is he stopped being a monk and he married that girl. The point of this story is not just that we can't avoid our own karma, but that something as simple as eye contact can have an amazingly powerful effect on any of us. Number 3 is no staring, eye contact, watching, looking into their eyes. So we just curtail curiosity about having a relationship with this other person. No eavesdropping, curiosity or interest in their doings. So we don't try to overhear what the girls are talking about, or guys, case may be. We're not snooping around. We're trying to curtail curiosity about these other people, because they're a distraction to our spiritual practice. It's not a sin, it's a distraction. Number 5, no remembering, recollecting, or thinking about past experiences. Many monks become monks later in life. They don't begin their monkhood as children. It depends on the culture and the country, but let's say someone becomes a monk when he's 18 or 20, a young man. He may not have had any sexual experiences, but the older men have. I'm speaking about monks now. They have had, and they may spend some time reminiscing as a way of exciting themselves about past experiences. Number 6, no envy for those who are enjoying sexual, sensual pleasures. So it's self-explanatory. Ideas. We don't regret that we have become a monk. We don't wish we could be with someone sexually. We just put those kinds of thoughts out of the mind because they are a hindrance. That's the best word. They're proved to be an obstacle when we're constantly thinking of ways to make the body feel good. And number 7, no craving to be reborn in sensual diva realms. In Buddhism, there's a whole lot of levels of heaven. Some of them are quite sensual, apparently. I don't know anything about it, and I don't bother to read about it. I know in one other major religion, they believe if they are good and they perform certain tasks or duties, that they go to heaven where there are a lot of virgins, and they get to enjoy being with these virgins. So it's not just Buddhism that suggests there are pleasurable places in, quote, the heavenly realms. Of course, Christians want to go to heaven because it's so pleasant there. So as a monk, they don't imagine that in the next life, if they're denying themselves this pleasant, pleasurable experience in this life, well, maybe they'll get it tenfold in the next life. That is not the goal of celibacy. So I want to conclude by stressing that for lay people there is no prohibition whatsoever. I'll redefine that. There's no prohibition about sex. It's not a sin before marriage or during marriage. There are some restrictions. There's an age restriction. You may not be with someone under age, which is in a law in many of our countries, 18 years of age. You can't be with someone who's already married. You can't be with someone who is engaged to be married. And this one is a little harder to define, but it says you can't be with someone who's under the care of their father. So in the ancient times, a young woman would live at home until she was married. And apparently there was an option for a lover or a suitor to get permission from the father, but don't quote me. Anyway, there are scriptures where the Buddha outlines responsibilities that a wife has to her husband, which includes sexual satisfaction, and the husband's responsibilities to the woman, things like buying her jewelry and treating her with kindness and respect, etc. So again, the Buddha was not a virgin. He was married when he was 16 years old. His wife didn't become pregnant until he was in his 20s. And he had hundreds of young women called minstrels. So they might have played music, did dancing and so on, entertained him, and they were also available to him for his sensual pleasures. So he knows all about craving. He knows all about sensual, sexual pleasures. He's not a prude. He wasn't a virgin. As I said, in fact, his wife gave birth to a son, quite different than some religions we may be familiar with. Okay, at the bottom of the page, there's a word called puja. It generally means how we respect. So it says honor, respect, devotional observances. For example, bowing 3 times to teachers or monks or statues of the Buddha. So this is the most physical, or I'm going to say material, way that we show respect. People burn candles, they light incense, they bring flowers to altars, they bow down. It's a tradition. When you enter the temple, you bow down on your hands and knees 3 times to a statue of the Buddha. When the teacher comes in, you also do the same to the teacher. This is the most sort of basic, elementary concept of puja. The intention is to open the heart by being humble, being on our knees, recognizing that there are beings in the world, teachers, past and present, maybe invisible beings, angels or guardian angels, etc., who are worthy of respect, and we want to show by some gesture that we appreciate them and we're grateful to them. So in this form of puja, it has to do with making a physical gesture. I'm going to conclude here today because it's page 15 and I'm trying to do just one page at a time. I thank you if you've made it to the end of this recording. I encourage you to subscribe and press like with the hope that others may stumble on this YouTube channel and may gain benefit as well. Thank you very much.